Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
This is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime. Hola, everybody. How is everybody doing? I hope everyone doing wonderful today. How are you?
Tonight.
Or tonight, or any day. Hope everyone's doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually been a good week, I think. I don't know. Maybe.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. I was about to say.
Wait, don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. No. I think it's going to be a good week. I have a very long weekend and a whole lot going on next weekend too, but we'll be fine.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. It's not like I've never done it before. So my daughter has competition this weekend, so I will be at the competition all day. I'm one of the helpers that I help, whatever, porque soy metiche, ya saben. So I'm going to be doing that. And then the weekend after that, my son has a math competition. Mm-hmm. So I will be taking him to that. Y luego...
Is it going to be like the last time that we went to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
igualito. It's going to be the same. He has to be there 7:30. He has to take food, blah, blah, blah. Y luego we also, my job is having a employee appreciation day, and they're taking us to Galveston and for brunch and to a private dolphin watch.
I've never been at a dolphin watch, let alone a private one.
And let alone in Galveston.
Yeah.
Never. So, and it's going to be an all-day thing. So that's the next week too. So yeah, I have a lot going on, but, and then we're looking into getting my daughter's party, getting ready for like 15, 16 kind of thing. And so we have an appointment to go set that up. And so we have a lot going on. Pero además de eso, everything's been chilling, thrilling. And how about you? Pues tú estás bien ocupada.
Yeah. You know, just do my things and that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you have for us today?
For today's case, wait. Tomorrow.
Oh, you do have something?
Yeah.
I'm excited finally.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm the only one that tells.
I do regular Pilates, like mat Pilates, but I'm actually taking a reformer class Pilates. A ver si no me doy en todo el hocico.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
With the machine.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I've seen the machine before y he visto que I've seen it only on TikTok and stuff. No, I've never been to one, pero que se paran como en las puntitas and then they stretch with the machine. So that's what it is?
Yeah, that's reformer.
Oh, that
Pilates.
is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I hope not,
I don't think nothing's going to happen.
No, because I feel like I do mat Pilates, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to my friend that doesn't do any Pilates, so she's going with me.
Oh, she is going with you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
So no va a ser la única, looking like because todos los videos are like reels que se dan en la madre. Que se caen and shit.
Que se caían. Oh my God.
Yeah, que se caen.
No, es que I think it's more of
let me show you one.
I think it's going to be more of a, like, if you're not used to the machine, y luego if you don't know what it can do,
No, well, it's a begin. We're not going to be doing anything hard.
That's what I'm saying. Entonces, I think you guys will be fine.
Yeah. I'm excited and nervous, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
You know what I want to do? I want to do
Win the lottery?
I want to do trap yoga. And my dream of doing trap yoga it's real. Like, I want to do
look up a class and go.
I feel like I want to go. I know that Paul Wall's wife, she has a trap yoga studio.
Well, how
and
come you
I think
don't look into it?
Because I don't want to go by myself and I don't want to look dumb. I'm probably going to look dumb anyway because I don't know what I'm doing. But
you should go by yourself.
I don't think so.
Why?
I don't know. It's embarrassing. But
No,
I'm
it's
excited
not.
for you. I'm excited. I can't wait for you to tell us
I
how it
wouldn't
went.
think that you would be like, oh, no, I wouldn't go by myself.
No, yo soy bien vergonzosa. ¿No vieras? No. Yo soy, a mí todo me da vergüenza. Y yo me agarro I'm always clutching my pearls.
You like closing your cardigan.
Closing my cardigan. And, porque se me cae.
Yeah.
No. A mí yo soy bien, a mí todo me da vergüenza.
No puedes andar enseñando el hombro.
Nada, el hombro.
No.
A mí todo me da vergüenza.
Yeah.
So, where are we going today?
Yes. Today we are going to Little Falls, Minnesota.
Minnesota. I think we've been to Minnesota.
A couple times, yeah.
Because I feel like we talked about
times,
the Mighty Ducks.
Once or twice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I remember. So, that's awesome. So, Little Rock?
Little Falls.
Oh. So, Little Falls. They're not
Little
big
Rock
falls.
is in Arkansas.
Oh. So, they're Little Falls, not Big Falls.
Right.
Okay. So, if you'd like to come with us to Little Falls, right?
Yes.
Minnesota. Go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. The fun, random, interesting fact is that Little Falls is where Charles A. Lindbergh grew up. Who was Charles Lindbergh, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you.
Oh.
No te preocupes. I got you.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you.
I was waiting for okay.
He was known mostly for two things. One was great and amazing, and the other one was tragic, heartbreaking, and he probably never recovered.
Oh. Okay.
Firstly, he was known as an American aviator, author, and conservationist. Mm-hmm. He was best known as being the first person to ever fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean.
He went by himself?
Solito. From NY to Paris in 1927.
He was probably like, si me voy a morir, pues me muero solo.
No. He actually went on to provide a lot of information as far as like in the aviation world.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And President Calvin Coolidge presented him with the Distinguished Flying Cross and made him a colonel in the Air Corps Reserve.
Cool.
He actually went on to become a world famous aviator. And the second reason he is known is for the 1932 kidnapping of his 20-month-old son, Charles Jr., whom he had with his wife, Anne. Tragically, Charles Jr.'s body was found over 2 months later in the woods.
Aww.
After Charles Jr.'s kidnapping and death, the U.S. Congress passed the Federal Kidnapping Act, known as the Lindbergh Law, which made kidnapping a federal offense and allowed federal investigators the authority to pursue kidnappings across state jurisdictions.
Wow.
It's actually a really sad case.
Pobrecito.
And I was actually looking to, like, it was when I was pulling this stuff up, it looked really interesting. So I know it became a big deal as far as how the media is allowed to, First Right Amendment, the First Amendment as far as like criminal cases and stuff like that in the courts and stuff. It was like it was insane.
Well, the thing is, and it wasn't because of who
he was. Yeah,
okay.
because there was like, I didn't look really far into it, but supposedly somebody kidnapped the baby from like 2-story window. And someone did I think somebody did get executed for the kidnapping. And it was like a whole debacle with like a ransom note. And in the end, I'm not sure if the person that was, held accountable for the kidnapping was even the person that did it. Okay. So it was like it was
a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
That's crazy, but that's interesting. Okay.
So that's where he grew up, in Little Falls. He wasn't born there, pero ahí creció el Lindbergh.
Oh, yo pensé que era
Lindor Chocolate.
Sí, yo pensé que era Lindor Chocolates. I swear, whenever you said Lindbergh, I was like, Lindor? And then I was like, no, I need to shut the fuck up.
I like those chocolates. Those are really good chocolates.
Yeah, and then I was like, I need to shut the fuck up because I don't think it's this right guy. Yeah, nada que ver.
Okay, so today's case circles around 3 people. Okay. It's going to be Nick Brady, Haile Kifer, and Byron Smith. So we'll begin with Nick and Haile. So Nicholas Alexander Brady, or Nick, as he'll be referenced in this case, was born on March 21st, 1995 in Little Falls, Minnesota, to parents Jason and Kimberly Brady. And he had an older sister who he was actually really close to. Her name is Rachel. He was described by his family as the fun-loving one in the group of cousins who always spend a lot of time together. Kimberly, his mom, said that he was into sports and he loved spending time outdoors. He wrestled. He did taekwondo. He liked to work out, was just really into fitness. He liked to go hunting, fishing, camping, and four-wheeling. And he, liked to make people smile. And, he had a lot of friends. He was very friendly. They said about him that when, if you were getting picked on, like he would defend you and that sort of person. Yeah.
Can't relate on the whole being outdoorsy. Hell no.
It's hot here.
We tried fishing one time. Didn't work out.
It's because here, I think it's so hot. The humidity is so bad. Well, personally, and when you can do, when you are supposed to do these things, I can't.
You can't.
It's fucking hot.
It's hot. And then you're like, okay, so now what do I do? Do I just sit out here and die?
I'm just going to go inside.
Or do I just go inside? And then we don't do it because you go inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that fishing would be cool somewhere else.
No, I know. But don't they say like when you go fishing, like you're supposed to go like at 2-3 in the morning? Like that's the best time to go fishing.
Oh, really? I don't know. I don't know. Because my ex-coworker, she would go deep sea fishing, and they would get themselves on a boat and stuff, but they would get these big ass fishes. And I'm like, I'm not a fisher.
Yeah.
Fisher. But that's cool. I'm happy for him. So, but he seems like he was a really swell guy.
Yeah. And Nick was close to his cousin, Haile. Era su prima. So Haile Elaine Kifer was born on October 19th of 1994, also in Little Falls, Minnesota, to parents Jay and Jenny Kifer. She and Nick were a lot alike and liked to do a lot of the same things.
So that's probably why they got along really well, huh?
And they were pretty much the same age. She was 18, he was 17.
Oh, okay.
You know, they were... You know, she also liked sports and the outdoors. She wrestled from the time that she was in kindergarten through the 5th grade.
También. Cool.
She was involved in gymnastics, diving, softball, and cross country. And again, like Nick, she also liked to hunt, fish, and go camping. She was described as just a bubbly person and super funny, and also had a lot of friends. I want to say that they had the same, like they ran around the same circles, you know? At the time of today's case, as I just mentioned, she was 18 and a senior at Little Falls High School, where she also helped manage the boys wrestling team.
Okay.
Yeah. Nick had also attended Little Falls with Haile, but transferred to Pillager High School the previous school year. And Nick, I mean, like I just said, he was 17 and he was currently in his junior year of high school. Now, Little Falls is a small town about an hour and a half away from Minneapolis, with the population of just over 9,000 people. And this is as of 2023.
So this is a really small town.
And so in this case takes place in 2012, so who knows how much.
Probably less, right?
Everyone knew everything about everybody, and there wasn't really much for teenagers to really do.
Gente chismosa.
So with nothing to do, some of the teenagers, you know, got up to no good.
Yeah, andaban haciendo mamadas.
Exactamente. Now, Byron David Smith, who was 64 and had retired about 5 years ago, had returned to live in his hometown of Little Falls. He had previously lived all over the world during his career as a security engineer for the U.S. State Department. According to his neighbors, he was a nice guy. He had a great conversation. He was really fun to talk to and just quiet and kept to himself. But as of late, things hadn't gone so great for Byron.
Oh.
He had been down recently since his home had gotten broken into multiple times.
Wow. Allí mismo in
Little Falls, yeah.
Okay.
With the most recent break-in being on October 27th of 2012. The thieves took thousands of dollars in cash, 2 guns, a shotgun and a rifle, family heirlooms that were, and you know, they had a lot of value. I think it was like a ring and some sort of things, photo equipment and gold coins.
Do you imagine like the feeling, and I don't want to feel this ever, pero I know before they've stolen things or like they've gone into your truck and they, you know, do whatever. It feels like so like you can't do nothing about it.
No,
you know?
Not in the, like when I think about like burglaries or something like that. The only thing that's ever happened to me, and I felt so, it's weird to say, but I just felt really violated.
Yeah,
because I'm like, you took my stuff that I worked for, you know, like, and I had gone to, it was year, I think I was like 20, no me acuerdo. For Black Friday, I remember my parents were out of town, so I spent it with one of my friends, with Anna and her family. So we ate, and that same day of Thanksgiving, you know, que habían el pinche mall, you know, at the same day.
Back in the day.
So we went to the mall, and I had taken my car, and when we came back, when we were leaving the mall, like my door was opened, and you know, the middle console, I had some Ray-Bans in there. Y se los robaron.
Yeah.
And I felt so like, we were saying, you know, violently, like I didn't even want to go. I was scared to go home. I'm like, you know, I was going to be home alone. But I felt so like, fuck you, you know, it's my shit.
It's really, it feels like that. So imagine like something small like that, like not too long ago out here in my house, they opened the truck and they were like, I remember that I have auto start on the truck and it was cold, and I remember I tried to auto start it, but it wouldn't. So I'm like, what's going on? But anyway, I was in a rush. So when I go outside, estaba abierta a little bit the door, and I'm like, oh shit. And when I opened, obviously they didn't take anything, but just the fact that they went into in there, and whatever they were looking for, you know, it's like, dude, go find something else to do. And that day it was raining so bad. And I think that's why I didn't pay it. And it was late. It was like 3 a.m. because I remember that I saw it go off, but usually sometimes it's a roach que anda volando allí.
Yeah,
so
or like thinking, an animal or an insect.
Or an insect or something. So I don't pay attention, especially because I think I was home alone. And so I'm like, damn, Pero sometimes I don't want to look because I'd be scared, you know? Pero it feels so like, you imagine, like, for example, this Byron, que le quitaron money y, like, dude, he must
Stuff
have
that belonged
felt,
to your family.
Yes, he must have felt, like, so discouraged with life, like, for real. Because he se siente uno bien feo.
Yeah. Now, Byron did notify the police who investigated the crime. The intruder ended up leaving behind a shoe print on the panel of the basement door, which was actually kicked in, and that's how they got into the house. Yeah. So regardless of the shoe print, the police were unable to determine who was responsible. So así se quedó, right? Now, due to the fear of the break-ins, Byron began to carry his gun inside the house.
Like he was just packing.
Yeah. Yeah. This brings us to November 21st, 2012. Okay. It was a Wednesday. Nick, Haile, and Rachel spent the day just, they were out of school. They were hanging out with friends, just driving around town. They all spent that night at a friend's apartment. And the following morning, which was Thanksgiving Day, Nick and Haile left around 11 in the morning and said that they were going to go back to Nick's parents' house, which were Haley's tios, right?
Yeah.
And that they will all later meet up at their grandmother's house because that's where everybody was going to spend Thanksgiving together. But Nick and Haile never showed up.
Uh-oh.
Kimberly, Nick's mom, and Rachel both tried reaching them, but were unable to get a hold of them.
Did they have cell phones back then or
yes.
no?
Well, it was 2012, pendeja.
Oh, shit, yeah, okay. No. It's because sometimes I'm like, fuck, ya ni sé ni, like, I'm like, dude, so there was no cell phone? Was there a camera? Like, I don't know. And I'm the one that was by that time already had a child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I said, they weren't able to get a hold of either Nick or Haile. And it was really strange for both of them because, you're teenagers. Even back then, you were glued to your cell phone. And they always answered their phone.
No, and they seemed like they were responsible kids. Like they weren't like crazy or something. They were like they would answer.
That they were ignored.
Yeah,
like her Haile. I mean, not Haile. I'm sorry, Rachel, who they were really close to, and their mom. So one specific reason why the family began to worry was because of the weather. It had started to snow heavily, and Nick wasn't experienced driving in the snow. The family feared that maybe they had gotten stranded somewhere or gotten into an accident. And if they had gotten stranded somewhere, the hope was that Nick and Haile were just going to wait it out somewhere safe and that they'd hear back from them the next morning. However, the next morning arrived and there was still no word from Nick and Haile.
Shit, I would have been out there looking like crazy. Pero también, putting myself out there wouldn't be a good idea, but...
Like you said, the weather was bad.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I can just imagine what they were going through.
Now, the family did hear about a red car that had gotten into an accident, and Nick drove a red car. So it was actually a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Oh, my God. That was the car.
Really?
Yes, girl. If you had a Mitsubishi Eclipse, you were cool.
I don't even know what it looks like.
It's a little car, and it's a two-door. It's like a two-door little car.
Like a little Miata or something?
No. It's a little bit bigger than a Miata, but girl, if you had an Eclipse, you were cool.
Let me see.
Well, at least when I was in school back in the middle.
Yeah, but that was like 10 years prior to this whole.
Can you not tell everybody how the fuck old I am?
Yeah, you are from 1986. People know how old you are.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is...
I'm going to repeat it. Porque hasta gracias a Dios que has llegado hasta esta edad.
Yeah,
gracias a Dios.
Whatever, Miss...
Mazda Eclipse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know this car.
You know the car.
Yeah, I know this car.
Exactly. So that's why when
everybody
I heard
had these.
Yes, everybody had them. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Not everybody, but
they were a common vehicle.
I didn't have one.
I mean, as a teenager, you would have like a Mazda Eclipse, So the family made their way to the scene of the accident, and they exhaled a sigh of relief when they realized that it wasn't Nick's car that had been in an accident.
It was not.
It was not. Okay. No. Since there was still no word from either of them, Rachel then took it upon herself to post a message on Facebook asking if anyone had heard from either Haile or Nick, and if so, to please let her know.
But they never went to the cops yet?
No, because it was still just the next day. But we'll get there. In the meantime, they continued to call both Nick and Haile constantly on Friday, remember? Because they nunca llegaron at Thanksgiving.
Sí. Sería Thursday. So entonces on Friday, they were constantly trying to find them still.
Exactly,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So by this point, they had already been missing for 24 hours. So Kimberly and Rachel made their way to the sheriff's department and filed a missing persons report for each of them. At the same time as those reports were being processed, Sergeant Jeremy Luberts, who at the time was an investigative sergeant with the Morrison County Sheriff's Department, responded to a break-in complaint at a house on Elm Street.
Not the Elm Street.
Not Freddy Krueger, pero...
Freddy Krueger.
Now, the house on Elm Street was a home he had previously visited for a break-in about a month prior. It was Byron Smith's home.
Okay.
When Sergeant Luberts arrived, Byron opened the door and stepped outside with his hands raised above his head. And he told the sergeant that he needed to show them something in his bedroom. As they were making their way down the hallway, Byron stated, that he had previously been the victim of recent burglaries. The most recent one had happened the day before on Thanksgiving Day. And in the bedroom, he pointed out there was obviously, you could see a broken window, and it was broken from somebody broke it from the outside. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The broken glass was on the desk. And
so the broken glass was inside.
Yes,
okay.
But somebody actually broke it from the outside, so por eso el vidrio cayó adentro.
Sí, adentro. Uh-huh.
Yeah. The broken glass was on a desk that was right up to the window, and it was on the floor. Byron then took Sergeant Luberts down to the basement, where Luberts noticed a smear of something red on the wall as they were walking down. Then they arrived at a small workshop room. It was como un little cuartito nomás. And in there were two bodies that were lying on the ground, wrapped in a tarp. And they appeared to have multiple gunshot wounds.
What? Why were they wrapped in a tarp?
It was the bodies of Nick Brady and Haile Kifer.
What?
So, Michael Wetzel, I think this is how you say his name because he doesn't have an A in there. It's Michel.
Michael.
Or Michelle?
No, I don't think it's Michelle. It's Michael.
Mr. Wetzel.
Mr. Wetzel. Mm-hmm.
The county sheriff because he was Morrison County Sheriff. Okay. Wetzel.
So
he arrived moments later.
I'm just saying.
He arrived moments later. And Byron proceeded to tell Wetzel and Luberts that he shot Nick and Haile in self-defense.
That makes no sense.
He went on to state that he used his Mini 14 rifle and 22 9-shot revolver, which he turned over. He said those were the guns that he used to shoot them.
He needed 2 guns.
As the other deputies arrived and began to look around, they noticed a couple of things that seemed kind of strange in the basement, estaban en el basement.
I need you to tell me why they were wrapped in a tarp.
Hold on. So one of the strange things was that, the lights, mm-hmm. There was 2 lights ahí abajo, and they didn't have light bulbs.
Okay.
It looked like they had been taken off.
So the light bulbs were off or were they broken?
No, they were off.
Okay.
They were removed.
Okay.
Also,
it was dark back there, under there.
Well, tenían yeah.
Pues sí, pero it was dark because it's the basement, so no hay ninguna
Well,
mirror.
Cuando llegaron ahí, pues sí, ya miraron, pues, había luces and stuff, pero also they noticed that, you would seem like, okay, I shot them, mm-hmm. Maybe the bodies would be next to each other, right? No, they were piled on top of each other.
Something's wrong.
And what really stood out to everyone was, the question was, why did Byron wait to report the shooting until a day later?
Yeah.
Right? Because he's saying that the break-in happened on Thanksgiving Day and you're calling us Friday.
So the thing is, my first thought was if somebody's trying to break in, the first thing that you're going to do is call the cops immediately that you hear somebody breaking in, right?
Wait.
No, I know. But
no, it depends on the state.
But
where you live.
Which is fine. I get that. But what I'm saying is my first thought is going to be call the cops. That wasn't my first thought to be wait until tomorrow.
When asked why he waited, to call them until a day later, he said it's because he didn't want to bother them on the holiday.
I don't like Byron right now.
Byron told the deputies.
So Byron didn't think that it was necessary for them. So he was he shot these people. He knew that they were dead. Because if you're just shooting to defend yourself, you're just shooting and you're trying to get away.
Right.
So he knew. He's okay, it's fine because they're dead. Ya no se van a levantar. So let's wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, para no interrumpirlos. They need to spend the Thanksgiving with the families.
Girl, get your ass out of here.
Byron told the deputies that he had been in his basement and he was in his reading chair when 2 people broke into his home, went down to the basement, and so he shot them both. Now, under Minnesota law, you can use deadly force to protect yourself or others from an intruder if you believe that you are in danger of serious harm or death. And this is known as the justifiable homicide. So this is what Byron said had happened. Okay.
I don't like Byron because I don't think something's wrong.
Since the previous burglaries, remember he had been
packing. No,
Byron had set up cameras around his house.
Okay.
He was besides packing,
But I have a question. What, just outside of, maybe you probably are going to tell me, outside of this, was there a particular reason why the children or the teens would be stealing? Like, were they poor or something?
Well, explain why.
Okay. If they were, I don't know if they are, but I'm just saying, what, I mean, is this something that, like, I'm trying to put everything together in my head. So does this make sense? Not only the fact that Byron sounds like he's a liar, but does it make sense that they would be there? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm kind of just trying to
piece it all together.
Yeah, I'm trying to process.
So since the previous burglaries, Byron, like I just said, had set up cameras around his home, which caught Nick on November 22nd, Thanksgiving Day, just after 12:30 p.m., walking around the property, looking inside windows and trying doorknobs.
Oh, shit.
He had his hoodie on and appeared to be trying to conceal his face. At one point, he noticed the cameras and he even tried to dismantle one.
Oh, shit.
So I don't think he was successful. I'm not sure, to be honest. And
but there was more than one.
There was more than one. And you could see it. If you pull it up, the surveillance, you can see it. And you can see him walking, looking into windows and such. And you can see him, pulling, going up to the camera. And then at one point, he walks out of the camera view.
Okay.
And he broke the window to Byron's bedroom and he entered the house. Minutes later, another hooded figure makes an appearance carrying a red purse on, the person's shoulder and a cell phone. And it was Haile. Nick's car was also found in a secluded road or area not far from Byron's home. In it, investigators found items that had been stolen from a different house.
Oh, shit.
Which included 6 bottles of prescription medicine, which actually ended up being expired. But
what would you... Okay.
I don't think... You probably just grab shit and you don't really think, I'm going to look if these are expired or not.
No, or at least what medication. Like, if you're going to steal, don't steal, like, blood pressure medication. Like, bitch, is your blood pressure high? Like, do you need that medication?
Ibuprofen.
Leave it there. Like, don't fuck with it, Like, don't steal. That's all I'm saying. Like, or don't take, like, freaking thyroid medicine. Like, you don't need that shit, Just leave it there.
It's just like, a really high dosage of vitamin D.
Yeah, like 5,000 million units of vitamin D. Like, you don't fucking need that. Like, ahí déjalo.
But that's what I'm saying. I think you just, like, I don't know. I've never burglarized a home.
Me neither. And I plan not to. So, I don't know. But my deal is, like, if you're going to steal, like, okay, expired medications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the investigations, investigators learned that Nick had previously done yard work for Byron and had been behind one of the previous burglaries at Byron's home, the one on October 27th.
Okay.
We also learned that law enforcement were actually familiar with Haile and Nick. They were part of this group of teenagers in the area that they had, like, crossed paths with multiple times.
Okay, so then that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
They had 19 quote-unquote contacts with Haile just that year alone.
Oh, shit.
They range from traffic stops to suspicious activity or theft. And the same with Nick. They just, the instances for, what Nick was, they had contact with wasn't specified. So on the surface, like, just based on what, the security footage, whatever,
it seemed
like it appeared that what Byron was saying had happened and he acted in, self-defense. So Byron was escorted to headquarters for a formal interview. He told Luberts how the break-ins had affected him physically, mentally, and emotionally. He lived in fear, as I stated before. He began to carry his gun inside his home. He wasn't sleeping. And then he relayed the events of the day before and said that about an hour before the break-in, like around 11:30 in the morning, por ahí, he moved his truck blocks away because dijo que se iba a poner he had the idea to start cleaning his garage. So dijo, pues I'm going to get it out the way, pues, so I'm just going to park, a few blocks away.
But if you're cleaning out the garage, wouldn't you put the stuff in the truck to throw it out?
Or maybe I don't know. We opened a garage sale, bitch. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. About an hour later, he said that he was in his basement reading, like he said in the morning. I mean, and not in the morning, like he said when the deputies first got there, that he was in his basement when he heard the window breaking upstairs. And then he heard the intruder, began to make his way down.
That's
down the
weird
basement.
because first he said that the first break-in was in the basement.
No.
You said that's how they had gotten in was through the basement.
No, the burglary on October 27th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the first time that they went into his home was through the basement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then now he was in the basement, I guess, kind of like just
he had a reading chair.
He
there.
had a reading
he was
chair,
like a
whatever
his
it is,
chill spot. Yeah.
Whatever. But now they went through upstairs. So that isn't that kind of strange?
No, because you would think that they would now properly cover the first entrance that you tried. I mean, you're not going to try to break in. I mean, why would you break into the same house twice, right? That's what
my mind would be, okay, I already got in through here, and I know that there's a window here. I could probably get myself in through there again. You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand.
Okay, so I just thought maybe in my mind I would probably try to go, if I had already gotten in there successfully through the basement, then I would go in through the basement again.
No, but also if he probably, like my mind is thinking like, well, they're probably making sure that area is secure now. I'm not going to be able to get through there or make it through there, para meterme otra vez a la casa through there again. Okay. Let me just, that's where I thought. But it just goes to show you everybody has different,
because
thoughts.
And my idea was like, okay, that's kind of strange. So he's now sitting there in the basement. Leyendo. And he's like, they got in through up there, but before they had got in successfully through that. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, but he did it though. I mean, that's the thing. Like, he broke the window, like you could see.
No. I'm not saying that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you can see there's video of him doing it.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. It's just I just think it's weird that they would do that. But maybe como no estaba la truck, they didn't see. They probably thought he wasn't home.
They were just going to be easier to just
to
be
go
like
through there. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. That's why I'm not a cop.
And I don't think that it matters if where he broke in. He broke in.
He broke in. Yeah, and he's dead now. Apparently.
Yeah. Oh. Like I said, he heard the intruder begin to make his way down the stairs to the basement where he was. He said that he first saw feet, and then he saw legs, and when he saw hips, he shot at the intruder and hit him in the chest with the rifle. He then shot him a second time, and Nick stumbled to the floor, and he landed on his back facing up. Byron then shot him again, close range, where the bullet went through Nick's hand and then through the side of his head. So in total, he shot Nick 3 times. Well,
I mean, once again, we go back to the same thing. He was probably like, he's not getting back up.
He said that he just reacted. And when Lou Burtz asked him what he was reacting to, he stated that he was just reacting to the previous losses that he had experienced. I'm not sure he meant like the monetary things that were stolen or his peace of mind. He couldn't be in his home, peacefully.
But I'm going back to the whole thing about them breaking in through the top, right? Why would they go down the basement though?
Maybe they knew that's where he had stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like valuables. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Because my deal is like, if before they had stolen, pero everything it was in wherever you got it, why would you go back down the basement? You see what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just me being weird. Sorry.
Later, we learned that after Byron shot Nick, he gathered Nick's shoes which had fallen off of him and put them under his reading chair.
Oh boy, it was a shotgun. It was a rifle. Okay, then, so yeah, that makes sense.
Then he grabbed the tarp and put Nick in it.
Yeah,
and then dragged him to the nearby workroom.
He had to the little place that you told me about.
Yeah,
okay,
it's super
okay.
small. Like the basement no está grandote. I think it's probably as big as your garage. Estaba chiquito. There's just like little rooms. Like,
okay.
Yeah. So after he shot Nick, he said that he was sitting down in his chair trying to calm himself down from what had just taken place when Haile made her way down the stairs about 10 minutes later. He shot Haile as she came down and before he even saw her hands. So he didn't know if she had like a weapon, Again, he said he wasn't looking at her hands, that he just reacted. He told Lou Burtz that he shot Haile at what he considered point blank range. And she tumbled down the stairs. And when he went to shoot her, his gun jammed. And then that she started laughing. So he said, quote, "It wasn't a very long laugh because she was already hurting," end quote. He explained, "There was another red button I guess most people would have. So if you're trying to shoot somebody and they laugh at you, you go again. I fired more shots than I needed to," end quote. When asked by Lou Birds, "Why did you fire more shots than you needed to? Why do you figure that?" Byron said, quote, "I was very, very threatened, unhappy." And then Lou Birds asked him, "You were mad, correct?" And Byron responded, "Yes." So after his gun jammed, he was carrying his guns on him. He grabbed the .22 revolver and shot her. He thought she was dead, so he dragged Haile's body to the same tarp donde ya estaba Nick, and he realized that she was still gasping. He said, quote, "As much as I hate someone, I don't believe they deserve pain. I shot under the chin up into the cranium.
Oh, shit.
I thought she was dead, and it turned out she wasn't. So I did a good, clean finishing shot."
Damn.
And she gave a dead twitch. "First time I've ever seen it in a human, but it works the same in a beaver and a deer and whatever," end quote.
We're not...
So he shot her a total of 6 times.
Because she wouldn't die. But, okay. I'm going to sit here and listen to the rest of the story.
He said that he then checked Haile's shoes to see if the thread pattern matched the print that was left behind on the basement door from the burglary a month before, but that they didn't. Then he checked Nick's, and he believed that they did match the print and that, the police should investigate that.
What is wrong with him?
During his recounting of the shooting or what had taken place, Sergeant Luberts noticed how calm he was. And you could hear emotion in his voice, like during the interview recording. Excuse me. But it's not like he was crying. He was just very, collected. And
I think, he had time. Lo que pasa es que tuvo el tiempo de preparar lo que iba a decir. Like, he was preparing his statement. So he knew exactly what he needed to say. So it sounds like he was just saying what he needed to say so that he can explain what happened.
He would have recounted it more emotionally if it had been the same day of?
The same day, yeah, definitely. Because if you think about it, I mean, it didn't sound like he was just trying to shoot to get them to stop. He was shooting to kill these people. These children, whatever, at this point. So, because then he got pissed because she laughed at him. And then he shoots her multiple times. And then he's like sitting there. He sits back down or like
after shooting Nick.
Yeah. And then the thing is, anda con los zapatos, like checking the shoes. A ver si son, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what the fuck? If you're trying to make somebody stop burglarizing your house, what's the first thing? You call 911, bro. Like, even if you shot more than once, if you're scared, you're just shooting, and you run, and you're just trying to get away from them.
You call the police.
Call the police. Not fucking try to put them in a tarp and shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
he tried, bitch. He did.
He did. And then put them in a stack como si fueran pinche pancakes and shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay. Like, no, I'm being serious. That's not okay. Like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like, I'm just saying something's not mentally right with that man. I get that you were afraid and, whatever. Bitch, comparing them to beavers and shit. We're not beavers.
Or, like, they're not deer.
They're not
because
deer.
they do hunt up there a lot,
Yeah.
So
that's crazy to me. Like, I don't understand why he did that. And I hope that I find out. I'm probably not, but I don't get it.
So after speaking with Byron, what took place in his home appeared to be more than self-defense to the sheriffs. The fact that he waited until the next day to contact them about the shooting and then stating that it was because he didn't want to bother them during the holiday, and the fact that the use of deadly force continued after the threat had subsided.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, these people are coming down, you're scared, you shoot, and that's the first thing you do. You shoot one time or
maybe twice, right?
But you're not trying to make sure they're dead.
No.
Or checking their shoes and shit. Like, you just kill them and then you shoot them
you
run. Or you do whatever you can to get away from the situation and call the cops.
Get away from the danger.
Or get the
threat.
Get the phone and like, hey guys, somebody's in here, blah, blah, blah. But not fucking shoot them and then go measure their fucking shoes and shit. Like, what the hell?
The sheriffs decided to turn the case over to the prosecuting attorney.
Yeah, as they should.
Byron was arrested that day and was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Initially, his bail was set at $2 million without conditions, or $1 million with conditions. Later, Judge Douglas Anderson reduced the conditional bail to $500,000 or $50K cash. His conditions were surrendering his passport and any firearms and remaining in Minnesota.
What did their family say?
Well, Nick's mom in particular, she was like, I tried to put myself in his shoes because obviously they knew what Nick and Haile were. They were going into his home.
Obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, she said that she was into the trial, because once you hear, it's one thing to hear, oh, they were burglarizing his home and he shot them once or twice and they were hurt and maybe died.
No, but now he's saying he shot her in the cranial of this.
He shot Haile 6 times and Nick 3 times. So he fired a total of 9 shots.
And luego, para acabarla, o sea, his gun got fucking stuck or locked or, ¿cómo se le dice? Jammed. And then he grabbed another one.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do that. If she's still moving, run.
He said that she was already hurting, right?
Yeah. So what are you doing? But so his family was like, okay, nos ponemos de su lugar del señor, pero at the same time, you took it too far, obviously. But I can understand that because sometimes our kids, they be doing some bullshit.
I know. And it's one thing to, you tell your kids, I mean, who your kids are when they're not with you, like
totally different.
Yeah, totally different.
Pero at the same time, yo tengo que saber lo que yo tengo en mi house. Like, I know exactly how my kids are. Yo no me voy a estar like, oh, they're angels.
No matan una mosca.
No, I know my kids. And then next thing you know, if you're driving around and then you have fucking stuff where'd you get that from? Like, no. Yeah. I mean, not me personally as a mom. There might be some moms out there that they're nicer than me, but not me. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. What is going on?
Where'd you get this from? I didn't buy you this. I didn't buy you this.
Where'd you get money for this?
Yeah.
Especially he's 17. He's underage still.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that age, you want to be like, pues, ¿dónde andas?
Yeah.
But that's me personally. I don't know.
Pero también, like, kids lie, like.
Yeah. And you're a good liar because I would fucking lie too.
Yeah.
Pero the thing is, you as a mom, you always know, dude. Yeah. You always know. And something's not right.
That's why I believe Kimberly, that's why she was like, I could understand where he,
But he didn't have to take it that far.
Exactly.
Pero yeah, I could understand. Okay.
So Byron, posted bail and he was released. The prosecutors were Pete, I was going to say Pooter.
Not Pooter.
Pete or Put. That's why I'm going to salió. Or Put and Brent Wartner. So, and after reviewing all the evidence, they believe that there was a strong case against Byron. And, like we were just saying, yes, Byron had the right to defend himself against intruders, but what he did went beyond that. Like, se pasó de verga, like you were saying,
también, like, the point where he says, I was upset. Like, I was pissed. I was mad.
Yeah.
So, okay, one thing is protecting yourself, and another thing is now you're trying to hunt these people down, basically.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I just feel like, sí está bien que, yes, I think they might have a case, pero I don't think they thought that he was going to run, because why would they let him out?
Yeah, well, that's why. Because he gave up his passport. So it's not like he could leave the country. So a grand jury was convened to review the case. And in April 2013, Byron was indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Now, the news of his indictment divided the town. On one side, his supporters, like his neighbors and stuff like that, they were like, no, he was defending himself and his property. Like, I would have done the same thing.
Pero
they were all saying that.
Pero a lo mejor no sabían lo que había dicho Byron in the interrogation room. Maybe they didn't know all the information.
On the other were the, contrarians that believed that he should pay or he should be punished for the overkill of 2 teenagers.
By any chance, do you know if they were armed at all or no?
Yeah, we'll find out.
Oh, okay.
His trial began a year later in April 2014. Byron's defense argued that Byron acted in self-defense and had done nothing wrong. Steve Meshberger. Where did I get burger from?
You're hungry.
No, I just ate. Meshberger, his defense attorney, believed that the evidence would show that Byron's actions from the shooting to waiting to notify law enforcement until the next day showed that he was a terrified man inside his own home, specifically in waiting to contact law enforcement. According to Meshberger, I want to say Meshberger, Byron was fearful that there was going to be a 3rd or 4th person that was going to come after him after Haile. So he hid in his closet until the fear passed.
That's not what he said. Did he say that?
Yeah, later. Yeah. That's why,
But then ya salió.
Yeah.
The next day.
No. That same day, just later.
Yeah, pero
Yeah,
como quiera salió, güey.
yeah.
I mean, como quiera salió, y he had a moment to call. I mean,
well, it all could have happened that same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Initially, Meshbesher believed that the fact that Nick had broken into Byron's home before and had taken his guns, which caused Byron to truly fear for his life, was going to be Byron's best defense, but that evidence actually was not allowed to be presented in court by the judge. So the jury didn't have that information that Nick had previously broken into Byron's home.
And that was actually proven? Que sí, que he was? Oh, okay. And they didn't have, they weren't able.
That.
Okay.
They didn't allow that to be.
No, because honestly, it's another case. It had nothing to do.
Yeah. Now, it was the prosecution's goal to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Byron not only acted with excessive force, but also in premeditation, and that it was murder, not self-defense. So the prosecution argued that Byron was set on confrontation and that Byron wasn't reading in his basement like he initially told investigators. He actually set a trap for the burglars, Nick and Haile. The story about him moving his truck to clean his garage was not true, and he intentionally did that to make it appear like he wasn't home.
I told you. I knew it. Because you don't move your truck when you're cleaning out your shit, because you put your shit that you're going to throw away in the truck. And I'm telling you, because we just did that today. And then you move the truck to go throw out the shit. You don't come and you move the truck para que,
guardarla, para que no le caiga
dirt. No, ma'am. Something was up with, I knew it.
So he was actually, they were presenting as Byron being in his basement, waiting for them to show up.
Sí, porque se me hace muy raro que estaba sentado nada más ahí en la silla.
And then that's why he took off the light bulbs from the lights. So if anyone came down and tried to turn on the lights, then we're going to be able to see. Then we're not going to be able to see anything. Prosecutors also had a big piece of evidence.
¿Cómo vas a estar leyendo si no hay luz?
I don't know, bitch. A flashlight? You want to pretend that you're like in medieval times? Bitch, I don't know.
¿Una candle o qué?
A la mejor.
What the fuck?
Pretending you're in the...
Girl.
Prosecutors, like I just said, also had a big piece of evidence that was going to work in their favor. They presented a digital audio recorder that was found on a bookshelf in the basement. It recorded over 6 hours of audio just that day from before, during, and after the shooting. También.
So he did that on what?
Yeah.
He did that on purpose?
Yes. Byron hadn't told investigators that he had recorded these tapes, that all this was on audio. I'm not sure how they ended up finding the audio al último. Well, obviously they were looking around the home, right? So lo encontraron. But I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, why? Did he want to listen to it later or something?
Quién sabe, güey. I really have no idea. But from when he first shot Nick to when the last shot that he, shot Haile, 12 minutes. That all happened in 12 minutes, and those 12 minutes were played for the jury.
What the fuck? And that's so strange.
But before I get into what happened in those 12 minutes, I'm going to relay some of the things that he said before the shootings, just for some context of what he was saying.
This right now, what you're about to say is what he was saying that was in the recording.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was talking to himself.
What?
Before que bajara Nick, before that he, So this was before.
So él sabía que he was recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was probably doing this for for records? I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, he worked he was a security engineer. I don't know, for the State Department, bitch. The U.S. State Department. I don't know what training he had.
Maybe he had like hardcore training. I don't know.
He says, quote, and one of the, obviously all of this is not in like an order or anything. These are just things that he said.
Yeah.
In one instance, he says, in your left eye. And he shot Haile in her left eye. So he said this before, okay? 17 minutes into the recording, he said, quote, B, which was Byron's brother. I think his name was Bruce. Stop by tomorrow morning. No rush, but as soon as convenient. Can you get that? Question mark. Yeah. Park to the north, 100 feet. No, 100 yards north of the corner and walk from the west, end quote. So it is believed that he was just practicing what he was going to say if the intruders come in and they like accidentally bumped into each other or something. Like he was just pretending to be on the phone.
Oh, okay, okay.
You can also hear him saying or speaking about what he was going to do after the shooting as far as contacting a lawyer, like if he was practicing or something. Because you can, like, it's so eerie hearing him say it.
That's so creepy.
Because he says, quote, I realize I don't have an appointment, but I would like to see one of the lawyers here, end quote.
So estaba hablando solo, mind you, está con las luces apagadas. Según él sentado, leyendo, ¿no? Me imagino,
Yeah.
that's what he's saying, right? So, and this is at what time?
This is like 7, maybe like, well, he moved his truck like around 11:30
In the morning. Pero he's in the basement.
He's in the
there's no
basement.
light.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there. We have to put this in bigger picture.
I guess we have to say we don't know when he took out the lights. Did he do it before or after he shot them?
Well, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Pero, como quiera, at this point, he's waiting. No? So let's say that
He's just sitting there.
He's just sitting there, pues.
He's waiting for them, right?
He's waiting for them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So está
And
sentado.
he didn't know who the burglars were. Like, he didn't know that, it was Nick from he just
Okay.
knew that somebody was breaking into his house. And at some point, he thought it was one of his neighbors.
Whatever. That man. Anyway. So then está sentado, güey.
En una chair.
En una chair. Imagínate the mental picture of this guy. Está sentado en una chair, hablando solo y diciendo estas cosas, esperando, callado in between these times for these people, for these whoever was going to show up.
That he hoped that they showed up because he knew what he was going to do.
That is so fucking crazy. My question right now is like, why did he record it? Like, was he going to play it back, or did he want to remember these things? You know how back in the day, people would, I'm not trying to laugh, but
back in the day, bitch?
Back in the day.
In 2012?
No, I'm saying que antes, a lo mejor because he's 64. So he's older.
I don't know. I think it has to do something with his job. Like just
that's
training,
what I'm saying. Maybe he
like,
was just like talking to something to remember.
No, el recorder lo encontraron en una bookcase. So it's not like he had it aquí en la boca.
No, por eso te estoy diciendo. Pero antes, lo que hacían es que they would record memos.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought he was recording a memo. I don't know.
But he recorded 6 hours.
Girl, I don't know. That's just so weird. And I want to be those people that find shit like that in the houses.
Pues tú quieres, pues que somos chismosas.
Es que soy chismosa y metiche. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, again, like I just said, everything happened in a span of 12 minutes. So this is, what happened. So you hear Byron shoot Nick, and you hear him say, "You're dead."
Oh.
And then you hear some rustling, which is believed that was when he grabbed the tarp. He had already shot Nick. All the time.
¿De dónde verga sacó la tarp? Is my question.
Right there. He was in his basement.
Por eso te digo, pero ya la tenía lista.
Pues ahí estaba su workshop, little workroom.
Okay. Because I'm thinking tiene la pinche tarp ya pinche sacada y todo para ponerlos allí.
Pues sí. That's why they're saying, the prosecution saying that he planned it,
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you hear the tarp, you hear some rustling, and they believe that it's a tarp that Byron was unfolding to move Nick's body. And then you hear Byron reload his gun. So 10 minutes pass, and then you hear Haile whisper, "Nick." And then she goes straight down to the basement and she calls out for Nick again. As I said earlier, that when Byron saw her hips también like Nick, he shot her. Mm-hmm. And then she laughed at him when he tried to shoot her for the second time, but the gun jammed.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what you hear in the recording.
Oh.
Because Haile didn't laugh.
Maybe it was him.
After she was shot, she stumbled down the stairs. He went to shoot her again, but this is when his rifle jammed. So Byron said something like, "Oh, sorry about that." And you hear Haile like screaming, "Oh my God, oh my God." And she's not laughing. So Byron, that's when he pulled out his revolver and shoots her again and again and again. And he says, "You're dying."
What the
Le dice.
fuck?
And then he shot her for the 5th time. And then he called her a bitch. And then he dragged her into the same workroom, like I just said a couple times, where Nick was in. And he placed her on top of Nick. And again, she wasn't dead yet. So Byron shot her for the 6th and final time, which, he did say that in his initial interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do learn that afterward, Byron stayed in his home for the next 5 hours. He continued to talk to himself. And these are, again, some of the things that he said. He said, quote, "I left the house at 11:30. They were both dead by 1. Of course, I'm safe now." He says también, "Cute. I'm sure she thought she was a real pro. I feel like I was cleaning up a mess, not like spilled food, not like vomit, not even like diarrhea. The worst mess possible, and I was stuck with it. In some tiny little respect, I was doing my civic duty. If the law enforcement system couldn't handle it, I had to do it. They weren't human. I don't see them as human. I see them as vermin. Social mistakes, social problems. I don't see them as human. This bitch was going to go through her life destroying things for other people, thieving, robbing, drug use. He also says, quote, I try to be a good person. I feel a little bit safer. Not totally safe. I'm still shaking a bit.
So it sounds like he was trying to convince himself that he had done the right thing. So at one point, he knew that he had fucked up. So, and then at one point, he's like, shit, I did the right thing. I needed to kill them, blah, blah, blah. You know, he was like talking himself down from whatever he was, like sitting there with these 2 children that you just killed.
But even like, you were saying as far as like their families, like hearing them here, because they advised them, you might want to exit the courtroom.
Not me. I'm going to sit right there.
That's what they say. You stay here.
Sit right there.
And like the mom was saying, like, I try to hold space for, or understand where he was coming from, because again, they were in his home burglarizing, or they were robbing him, because he was there. But he also in the same breath is calling him, you're like, I don't see them as human. And then I see them as vermin.
And then calling her a bitch. And then he said that she laughed at him.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Like, why would you make that up? Or why would you say that?
I think that he was so into his brain that he probably heard that. And then he got pissed, but he got mad for no reason. And then, because he didn't even hear her saying, oh my God, like he didn't even mention her talk at all. You know what I mean? So like, you know how you go into psychosis, or people say that they go into psychosis?
But like when his gun jammed, why would you say, oh, sorry about that?
Yeah. And then he's apologizing to her. I don't know. That man I don't think he was all that there in the brain.
Now, to the recording, the defense stated that it didn't show that Byron had premeditated.
Oh, no?
The shootings.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It showed a man who was, quote, quite possibly driven mad with fear. Like you were saying, maybe he just...
Yeah, I think that that's what he's going to say, that he was, very, very, like, scared or whatever.
He was scared. That's the thing. Like he said...
He was, and that's fine,
But that's the thing. He planned this. I mean, that's what I think. Like you were saying, you just don't park your truck far away. You knew that they were going to think that you weren't there.
Not only that, but on top of that, he said in that one of the quotes that you mentioned, he's like, the police couldn't take care of it. So like he was going to. So he thought in his mind, he was like, I'm gonna take care of myself. They can't do it, So he knew what he was doing.
Even the next day, I thought I had included it in here. Not that it's like a big part, but when it was his neighbor, he got, after the next day on Friday, he went to talk to his neighbor and told him, hey, I need you to get me a lawyer and I need you to contact the police. So it was his neighbor, Bill, that ended up doing it. He didn't even call. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, after a week of testimonies, it was time for the jury to deliberate. It took them less than 4 hours for them to reach a verdict. Byron Smith was found guilty of the first-degree murder of Nick Brady and Haile Kifer. He was sentenced on April 29th, 2014 to life in prison without parole and is currently incarcerated at MCF Oak Park Heights. And that's the case of Nick Brady, Haile Kifer, and Byron Smith.
That's crazy, because I completely agree with the court's decision to put him in jail for what did they give him? Life. Because there was that was not okay. Whatever he did, I get it. People were stealing, but at the same time, you didn't do it right. You were not letting you're supposed to let the.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I thought apparently I cut this out, but he said. I felt threatened by her because I didn't see a gun. I didn't see a weapon, but I wasn't looking at their hands, though, he said.
Well, open your fucking eyes.
He's like, I just shot. I didn't see their hands. I didn't know if they were holding weapons. I felt fear, and then that's why I was reacting.
And you shoot one time. Tops
twice. 2.
But 6?
But Haile, he shot her 6 times, and like I said, he shot her and then I gave her a good clean finishing shot. Come on.
Yeah.
Like we're not saying that what they were doing was okay. Like
not at all.
No, like
not at all.
You shouldn't be. And I think we've said this before. Like, how do you have the balls to go into somebody else's house?
I could
like. They can kill you, and they're gonna kill you. You know.
So you didn't mention? Did they have a gun on them? Were they armed? They didn't have anything. Mm-mm. Because they probably were like,
he's not home.
He's not home, or they probably thought it was easy. They'd already done it. Somebody had already done it. Maybe them or not them. I don't know. But it's gonna be in and out. Whatever it was.
And obviously, like it seemed like they were, Haile and Nick and others were, haciendo desmadre, like around town. They probably fucking bored, no saben ni qué hacer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, pero como quiera, you need to stop stealing shit from people.
I mean, we're not saying,
vete a pintar, haz algo, a correr, güey. Pero no.
Ponte a leer un libro.
Ponte a leer un libro.
That's what I say.
Ve la tele, ve cartoons. I don't care. But you don't need to be, like, burglarizing people's houses and shit. But the thing is, he did not have to.
And then, like you say, why would you burglarize the same house twice?
I don't know. They're kids, dude.
Yeah.
They're kids. Se les hizo fácil, no miraron la camioneta. They were like, let's just go in and out. But at the same time.
Damn bitching on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just like.
On Thanksgiving. And then.
Like you were just with your sister. Like you guys were just had spent the night together. Like you guys were just supposed to meet up. And.
You don't have to do that. Like stay home. But at the same time.
Follow the rules.
Pero también we think about it in another way. It's like we can't say that against the people that were the ones that were burglarizing too. But they're still human.
Yeah.
They're still human.
Yeah.
He was waiting for that. I think personally, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I don't know. But I think he was waiting for him.
I mean, that's what
he set up the little camcorder shit, hablando solo and shit. I can just imagine him sitting there in a fucking chair con toda la luz apagadas, hablando como pendejo. Like, that's the way I see it. And maybe, like we said before, he was so scared que in his mind, he was mad. Pero what if it wouldn't have been even? What if they wouldn't have walked in if you would have not moved your truck? What if they would have just gone somewhere else?
Well, they were going to see his truck. They were not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. And so you invited them over basically. Like, hey, I'm not here. Come on over.
But I mean,
they shouldn't have done it.
They shouldn't have done it.
They shouldn't have done it. No. But like, that's where I'm at. Like, do you feel like you can't take sides, but at the same time,
se pasó
de verga el señor, pero también ellos para qué andaban haciendo lo que no debían de hacer.
Like, and maybe let's say he would have shot them once, and he would have shot each of them once, and that one shot could have killed them still, But it wasn't overkill. You shot him once. They went into your home. You feared for your life, so you shot them each once. Let's say, y se murieron de todos modos.
Dude,
that would have been
Call the cops. Let them get down there.
And again, like waiting. Did he really feel bad for, like you said, they were already, in his mind, a lo mejor, they were already dead.
Yeah.
Why ruin somebody's Thanksgiving Day? I don't know. Just saying. But that's the case of.
Dude, I don't know. This one, it kind of has me feeling a little bit off because I'm glad that they got the sentence that Byron got. But at the same time, it wasn't cool that they were stealing, So,
yeah.
Because
they were committing a crime.
And we've been, victims of that as well. Y no se siente bien. So it's like, because I would be scared. Like after I saw that guy on my camera that he was out there opening doors and shit, just that right there, he didn't take anything. He didn't come inside, but dude, he could have knocked over my door and come inside.
Yeah.
Just that thought.
Yeah.
But it's still scary. I would be scared too. So, I mean, am I going to walk around with the gat and talk 6 hours to a fucking thing? No. Pero you never know. You could have just tried to move on from that, maybe.
But it's easy for us to say,
exactly.
to move on from that.
Move on from it. So, and then, ¿quién sabe qué le robarían? Él dice que gold coins y dinero.
They did because they filed a report, so.
Dinero y gold coins y todo eso.
Family heirlooms.
So,
yeah,
¿quién sabe cuánto será? But anyway, thank you so much for everyone that listened. Thank you so much, sister, for that case for the week. Let us know what you think. If you like to, you can follow us on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod, and you can also listen to us everywhere that you listen to podcasts: Amazon, Spotify, and YouTube, audio only. And we'll talk to you
on the next one. Thank you, everybody. Bye.